Good afternoon everyone and welcome to today's webinar. In today's session what I'm going to be covering is the web company and contact setup. For those who don't recognise my voice, it's Mike doing today's session, and we do have Molly on the live chat. So if you've got any questions about anything we're covering today, just ask away in the live chat. Molly will be there to answer, and then at the end we'll be hanging around for a little bit as well. So if you've got anything to ask, you can hold on to then as well. So there's a few little key points we're going to be covering today. We're going to be going through the web store control company, what it is, the pricing, and how you can upload products and catalogs through that company. Then we're going to be going through specific company setups so you can get your customers using your online store, making your day more efficient. Then specifically the contact setup, how you can put restrictions on, and a few other different options to customise your user's experience. And then there's a few new options within the control panel to further sort of the experience that they have on the site. So we're going to get started. It should be a relatively short session. So we'll get started. So within the company record, we have, if I just go into here, we have a specific company that's set up. For the majority of yourselves watching this, it'll be set up known as the web store control company. Some of you may have customised the name of this, but it'll be the web store control account, as we can see here. So if I just click into this company, basically it's this company that provides all of the pricing rules and everything within Prima, within the website. So when your customers aren't logged in, this is the pricing they'll see. Whatever products are set up online will be taken from this specific company. So if I just go over to the product and pricing tab, within here, it's here that you can set all of your catalogs to display. So depending on what you want, you can have specifically the default catalog, your VAL catalog, whatever suppliers you want that have the data available to show online, you can put the catalogs in here. We usually advise putting your preferred supplier and the default catalog in here, but it's in here that you can actually set these up so it's shown across the board for all of your customers. So it's always within this product and pricing tab. Also in here, this is where you specify the pricing for when your users aren't logged in. So it works just as you would price a normal account. You've got your discount bands and everything that you can set up, or you can apply mailers, contract products, whatever it might be. You can set this up against this web store control account just as you would price a normal account, and then that's the pricing that your customers will see. So you can set offers, customer offers up, whatever it might be. And then whatever pricing you've got set will be what's taken if you've got, when your customers aren't logged in. So that's that. So the web store control company controls everything, controls the products that you can see online, and basically you can do something to enable your customers to see whatever's set in here online as well, which is a major requirement when setting your customers up to use your online store. So within any other company, if I just go and search, within the same tab, if I just go into one of our test accounts, on the right hand side we have the product and pricing tab, and then specifically in here we have these web settings on the right hand side. So it's here that against each company you'll be wanting to assign them and associate them to the web store control company. And basically what that means is on this right hand side you can use the catalogs from that specific company, which makes it easier to manage and more efficient from one point of view, rather than you having to go into each and every single one of your companies and assign the catalogs within there. So you always want to associate your companies to the web store control company. You never want to just set the catalogs up in this section here. Always associate them, because then they'll be able to see all the pricing, all the products that are set against that account. So within here there are a few different options using this current web settings at the very top. So currently this company is set to use catalogs from the WS control company, which is what we want, and it uses the prices set in this company for online. So there's an option just below here, and this will show up when you actually associate from the drop down this customer to a web store control company. And basically what this option here, press to use pricing from WS control company, will mean that any pricing against this account online won't be valid and won't be used anymore. So it will take the prices that you set up when your customers are logged in outside of an account, and it will assign it against this account. Now it's something that can be useful, especially if you're getting a customer just registered online. This will automatically enable. But if you're setting up for a long-term account customer, then it's not something that will be that useful, because anything that you've done bespoke pricing wise to their account won't be taken into account. So if you've got contract prices for that specific customer, it won't be valid until that's done. So that's just something to be mindful of with the different settings in here. And then just below that we have the option for the web pay type, and that's just whether you've got a payment gateway set up online. You can specify, rather than just as a default from the own company, you can actually specify how you want them to pay. So whether it's going to be on account all the time, or whether it's a customer that may have a bit of a rocky history where it comes into paying your invoices, they've got to pay up front for anything they order online, which is you can set to be credit card, as long as you've got a payment gateway set up. So that's just something to be mindful of within here. So you can't associate all your companies en masse to the web store control company, and that can be done through the company grid manager. And then within this section, once you've searched for all your customers, you can hit this change tab, and just because we've not searched for anything, you've got the option to associate here right in the very center. And once you select that, from the drop down you can select the specific web store control company. So with that web store control company, you can set your suppliers into your catalogs into there, and you can specify which ones to show. If you want to look more in depth into how you can specify what to show online, there is another webinar on that, which Molly should put a link in the chat now for you, so you can watch that once we're done here, and that'll go through and sort you through how to set up specific products just to show them specific suppliers. So that's something that you can look into more in detail. Now, against the actual account themselves, once you've got the account set up, once you've associated them, and once you've set your pricing and everything else up, it's actually time to set up the contacts. And to do that, if I go into the main tab and into any of the current contacts, against each contact you have a web access tab. And within here, this is where you can set up and customize the experience, what they can see, what they log in with, and how they can use the online account. So in the top left hand corner, we've got the contact name with account logon and password. So whatever you want the logon details to be, you can just put into this section and it'll be used online. Once you've entered them details, you can tick this web enabled tick box, and once this has been ticked, that user and that account is live. Just below that we have the option to log to child. So if you do have some accounts that are parent and child set up, you can set someone that's in the parent company to have the ability to log into the child accounts as them with all their permissions, so they can manage their accounts sort of from just the one login, rather than having to know each and every single person's username and password. You can set this up and they can log into the different accounts. Just below that you've got the option to show invoices. So for example, if you want to set up someone in their accounts team as a user, just go online and check their invoices, then this is an option you can enable. On the left hand side, just below the password, we have the user access level. Now within here we have 4 options, and depending which option you select is depending what abilities and sort of what restrictions are set against each account. So the administrator, they can do everything within the system, within the web store. They can change locations, change passwords, authorize everyone's orders, as an example. So if you've got an account with just one user, it may be worthwhile just setting them to be an administrator, so they can manage their account officially without having to come to you. If I want to add a new location or I want to change a location, they can all manage it through their own online account within the My Account section. Just below that we have the option to place orders only. So with the top 2 options here of administrator and place orders only, any customers that are set to have this will be able to push orders directly into Prima without having it authorized or confirmed by anyone else. So place orders only, they don't have the options to customize their account or manage anyone else's like the administrator does, but they can place their own orders without having to have it authorized by someone else. Just below that we've got place pending orders only, which requires either a administrator or someone who is an authorizer to confirm their orders, so they've got the least sort of permissions of all the 4 users. They can just place orders, and it needs to go to a nominated authorizer in order to be used, to be processed through into Prima and through to your purchasing. Very final option, we've got place and authorise orders, which is similar to an administrator in the fact that you've got the ability to authorise specific people's orders, but you aren't able to update and manage the account, change locations, passwords, etc. You've just got the option to authorise other people's orders. So you can have one administrator and as many people place and authorise orders. So if you've got, say, 5 branches with a manager in each and then a head office, you can set the head office to be the admin and the branch managers to be the place and authorise orders, so they can manage the orders from their accounts. And that's how you can set up authorisers. So with that, once you've set up any authorisers, you can just add them in here on the right hand side and select available authorisers based on what's been set up already. So if you've got any accounts that want to be set up like that, have a look at the and play about with the user access level and what available authorisers you can set up. Just below the user access level, we've got the option of a start page. So basically in here, you can select what page your customers start on, whether they want to go straight into the order pad section, contracts, basket, whatever it might be. You can specify where they start. Below that, we've now got a new option for minimum and maximum order values. So you can basically say, well, this customer, you're not going to be placing any orders below £10. So £10 would be the minimum order value. And if they do come through that currently, if that's just enabled, it won't automatically authorise, and it's something you will have to say, okay, you know, they've placed an order, it's £9.99, we'll take that, rather than it just being, say, a 10p order for a pack of staples or a ruler, whatever it might be. Got maximum order, so if you want to set some budgets against specific contacts as a request from the account, then you can do so using the max and minimum order values. And then with that budget, you can set max monthly values of their spend. So if they're limited to spending, say, £1,000 per month on stationery, then this is a specific contact monthly sort of limit. So that's set contact by contact, but you can at least set limits and set budgets up for them using this option here. On the very right hand side, we have the option for a view, and basically this is how you can specify and restrict what type of products or your customers can and can't see. So if you've got a customer that wants to see a specific range, you could set that range of products up as an order pad and then just leave the standard order pads to show. So they won't be able to see the catalogues or the contract, they'll just be able to see the order pads, and that's what they'll be able to see and restricted to see online. And you can do the same with the catalogues and contracts, etc. So if you only want to see contract items, you can untick the catalogues and order pads, and then that's what they'll be limited to see with the contract option. So depending on what your customers want, you can meet the requirements with what they can and can't see using this view option here. So that's the sort of the standard setup. Once you've got that, your customer will be able to log in online and they'll be able to see products and place orders. Now, depending on how sort of strict the users want their accounts to be, if they only want to see certain order pads, certain locations, cost centres and a few other things, using the 3 tabs at the bottom here, you can set up restricted order pads. So you can hit the add button to add order pads that are available to this company and restrict them so they can only see these order pads rather than anything else. As long as you've got that ticked, that customer will only be able to see any order pads you set within this section here. And you can also restrict the customers from being allowed to make pad edits and not sort of editing the order pads that you set up for them if they've set them up. So you've got options there to customise what they can and can't do and what they can and can't see within the account. You can do the same for delivery locations, so you can restrict them. You can set a default delivery location that will pull through online, and then you can set restricted locations. So for example, if you've got a large customer that has a number of branches around the UK, you may not want one contact to be able to see all the different locations that they've got and place an order accidentally to another one. So you can come into this section, restrict locations, and add the specific location they're sort of assigned to. So if it's a HQ, you can hit add, and then specifically that location will be restricted for them. So you can just tick that, and then whatever locations are in here, that's all they will be able to see online. Final option tab we've got in here is the cost centres and departments. So you can do exactly the same as the other 2 tabs. You can restrict what cost centres and departments your customers use by hitting the add and remove and selecting the tick box. So if you've got customers that are set up like that and are always requesting, well, I only want to see these specific cost centres, you can use this, and that's all they'll be able to see. So if you've got a long list, you can restrict them to just specific cost centres that are relevant to them. So So that's the basic setup within the back end. There's a few new options against companies and contacts within the online sort of control panel, so we'll just pull that over for you. Okay, so within here, if I go into companies, within the customers and companies within the actual online account, you can click into any of these companies and there's a few new options within here. So you can search them. You can first of all add a message, so when your customers do come in online, for whatever time frame you set this, so for example if you've got a start date of today and end date of say next week, you can give it a subject and you can type some text into here, and basically whatever you put into here will come up and pop up as a message online for your customer to see. So for example, if they're a brand new company that's quite a large customer that have just joined and started to place orders through the website, first time they log in, you can set up a message, thank you for coming to us, thank you for your business. If you're having any issues with the site, you can't find a specific product, or if you want to know if we can do something for you, just contact us on the number below and you can specify your number as an example. With that, as soon as they log in, they'll be able to see that. It's a bit of a personal touch towards them when they first log in. They know that you're there, that they're at hand, and it's something that you can do to give you the edge over your rivals. Next, that we have the option for a logo. So some companies, they want it to be sort of like a bespoke online ordering platform for them, so they want it to be customized to them. And using this, you can upload the customer's logo to the site, so when they log in, they won't see your logo. It'll be replaced with whatever image you upload here, and that's what you can see. A few customers that have used this have created their own image with their logo and the customer's logo, so it's like working in partnership with this specific company. So it's something that you can take a look at, and you can sort of build a proper partnership with that customer if you go down that route. But to upload it, you just hit the browse button, you look for your image, and then you hit your upload, and then that will assign that as the logo for that specific company. So whenever they log in, the image you upload there is what they'll see. Then finally, within the contacts, these are the new options that have been specified against this specific user. So if I go into settings, we've got 3 tabs within this settings option button here, and it allows us to just customize that user experience a little bit more to what they want. So you can, within this section, show the pricing including or excluding VAT as a standard, and then show the option at the very top. You may have seen it when your customers logged in, to toggle prices between the two. So if you only want them to see prices including VAT, then you can set that within the drop down and then turn this option off, and then that's all they'll be able to see. They won't be able to switch it back and forth like the majority of customers have. Within the basket, this is where you can set the hard limits for the monthly budgets, for the order limits and the minimum order limits. So currently, if this isn't enabled, the orders won't be automatically authorised. They'll go into your imported orders section, and you'll have to process it manually there yourself. If this is enabled, it will tell the customer that they have exceeded the monthly budget, what the budget is, how much they've got left of it. Obviously, if they hit this, then they've got nothing left, but you will be able to see in the how much you've got left of your monthly budget if you do have a quantity outstanding. You've also got the option to prevent the order being placed if they exceed their order limit. So if they've got a maximum order limit of say £250, if they go over that, this will stop them from placing that order. In some cases that's probably not a great thing, but if you've got a customer that's very, very strict with how they want the ordering to work online, then it's something that you can turn around, at least say to your customers, you won't have someone in your organisation that's going to place a really, really high value order without you knowing about it. Then the last option we've got is the sort of the lower limit. So rather than your customer be able to process an order for 10p or whatever it might be, you can actually stop them from placing an order unless it's over a specific amount. If you do have the order limit set, it will tell that you need to achieve a certain amount of order before you're able to process it. So it's something to look at, and that's within the companies, the customer company, and then within the contact specific. In the final tab, we've got the My Account. So it's this is if they're set to be sort of an admin. You can give them the option to update usernames, passwords, use user settings, and a few few other options within here. So this is where you can allow users to be able to manage addresses and other options. So depending on what your customers want, it may be worthwhile coming into this section, seeing what it does, what you can and can't do with it, and then off the back of that give your customers the experience that they want. So just to recap, we've been through the web store control company, how to set up pricing and catalogs against that account and how it works. You've got the company set up and making sure you're actually associating your companies to the web store control company. Then within the contacts, you've got all the different options there for when setting up with user access levels and restrictions. And then there's some new options within this the control panel for customer specific options to stop them from ordering monthly limits and a few other different bits. But apart from that, I think that's all we want to cover today. So if you've got any questions about what we've been through, just ask myself or Molly, who'll be hanging around for a little bit on the live chat. So if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And if you are interested in any one-to-one sessions on the control panel, the web store, or even Prima Cloud, just contact the training department or the customer service team. More than happy to discuss some training packages with you. And apart from that, thank you for your time today, and we'll see you next week.